So as you settle into your chair, feel your feet connecting into the ground. So if you need to bring something underneath your feet to bring the ground to you, go for it. And see if you can feel your spine sitting up tall. So finding your best posture with as little stiffness as possible. So can you find softness within that length and space? Up the spine, around the chest, and into your neck. You can rest your hands on your lap, palms down or palms up, what feels good for you right now. What lets you relax any tension in your hands and fingers. And feel your head balanced over your shoulders. So positioning your head in a way where you feel space and length through all sides of your neck. And then as you wish, you can close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. And start to notice the movements of your breath within your body. Often when we first start to pay attention to the breath, there's a sense of force or strain. So see if you can gradually just allow the breath to flow a little more naturally as you're also aware of it. So can you feel the breath as it moves in to your body through your nose? You can sense the coolness of the inhale moving in through the nostrils. And feel the warmth of your exhale, warmed by your body as it leaves through your nose. So let your awareness stay right there around the nose, the nostrils, and feel those subtle sensations. Breath moving in and breath moving out. Feeling the temperature of the inhale and the temperature of the exhale. You might even sense that one nostril brings in more breath than the other. One nostril may be more active than the other. That's perfectly normal. And then let your awareness drift further down, around the heart, the lungs. Feel the width of your collarbones from your breastbone out to your shoulders. Feel the expanse of your ribs, protecting the lungs through the front, the sides, and the back. And feel a gentle sense of expansion as your lungs fill with each inhale. And then be present with that little release on the exhale, a letting go, a softening, a settling, a drawing back in as your lungs empty. We have muscles between each of our ribs that allow for this movement as the lungs get bigger with the inhale and smaller with the exhale. The ribs expand and contract. And then let yourself become more conscious of the space under the ribs. through your abdomen, just above the navel, and around the navel itself, the whole circumference of your waist, through the belly and around to the lower back. And also feel the space into the pelvis, the pelvic floor. So can you feel the space from the ribs to the pelvic floor, towards the pubic bone and tailbone? Can you sense how the breath moves here? As the diaphragm pulls the breath into the body with each inhale, it displaces your organs, gently pressing down onto them, making your belly expand. So feel that drawing downwards with your inhale, connecting you to the chair, through your sitting bones, through your thighs, and down into the ground through your feet. And then with your exhale, can you feel that upward movement, drawing the breath out through the lungs, back out through the nose. So can you feel that freedom of movement for a few more cycles down into your belly and around, possibly even into your lower back. Feeling that expansion with each inhale, moving outwards in all directions. And then feel as you exhale a drawing in, back in towards the center, letting out the breath. And then as you keep your connection right here with your breath and with your body, start to once again tune into the space around you, hearing the sounds around you as you start to move into maybe the toes and the fingers. You can let the eyes open. Let's start with a bit of movement here into the wrists. So we'll begin with just some wrist circles. So you can start with closed fists, keeping your elbows in close towards your sides so that you can feel the movement primarily in the forearms and in the wrists. And notice what direction you're circling in, and then find the movement in the opposite direction a few times. Finding that full but comfortable range of motion. Good. And then let's find this movement in the wrist first. So where we're just going to start with the hands maybe pointing down in fists and bend the wrist so the knuckles come towards the ground, and then bend the wrist back so the knuckles come towards the ceiling. So down and up with the wrist. And then we'll explore a little more movement into the palm and the fingers. So next time you bring the knuckles to point up, let's open up the palms now. So we've got the fingers spreading, pointing towards the sky as much as possible while you're pushing forward through the heels of your hands. That's it. Nice. And then let's push out through the arms, so straighten the arms. And as you do that, you might notice how the stretch changes for you in your forearms. And then let's bend the wrists down, curl the fingers around, thumb wraps around your fingers. So now you might feel more of intense stretch into the top of your hand or the top of the forearm. And then pull that back. Elbows come back again. So we've got the wrist still down. Then we're going to bring them back up. Open the palms first. Reach out through the heels of the hands. Spread the fingers back towards you. And then push forward through the palms. That's it. Keep spreading the fingers back for another breath. Good. And then bending at the wrists, pointing the fingers down, curling them around as your thumb wraps around your fingers. What do you feel here for another breath as you now push out through the top of the heel of your hand? Good. And then pull it back again. This time just a little different. So bringing the knuckles to point up again. Open the palms to face away. Pull the hands back towards you. So you're going to feel probably some work in those extensor muscles that pull the fingers back in the forearm. And push out through the heel of the hand again. Now let's try to close one finger at a time, starting with the baby finger, ring finger, index finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb. That's it. And then bend at the wrist down, push out through the top of the palm. Nice. Pull it back and shake it out. Great. Whew, good. Let's come to sit towards the front of the chair. And we'll continue to find a little bit of movement in the wrists while we also find more movement into the shoulders. So we'll start with the palms together, I think. And as you breathe in, we're going to sweep the arms out and stretch up. That's it. And then bring the palms together down through center. And as you do that, feel the palms pressing together and keeping them together as close as they can, even as they go down. So as you do that, you'll feel that stretch again in the forearm. And then again, reach out, stretch up, breathing in. Exhale, the palms come down. Press gently the palms together as they lower. And then separating as you stretch up again. So feeling that movement. Really nice. With the rhythm of the breath, let's go for one more. And then we're going to pause with the palms pretty much in front of the chest. And we'll find some movement here, separating the heels of the hands, but trying to keep the fingers together. So can you gently press through the knuckles, through the fingers, and you'll probably feel a bit of a different stretch now in the palm, forearm. And then separate the fingers, but keep the tips of the fingers together. So you're pressing gently into the fingertips, now stretching the fingers themselves. Okay, that's it. And then release it. Whew. Shake it out. Bring the backs of the hands together. That's it. So we'll go in the reverse now, with the backs of the hands touching as much as they can. And so you start like this with the wrists bent in the opposite way as much as is comfortable for you. And then move the hands up and then separate them wide and down. So backs of the palms coming together, fingers pointing up, breathing in. The hands separate, exhale as you lower them. Finding that motion. That's it. Through the wrists, through the shoulders, with the breath. One more time. And then let's bring again the backs of the hands together to touch. And we're going to circle the arms as we keep the hands touching. So now we've got the palms facing away from each other. Let's turn the palms to face you. So the baby fingers are still touching. And then the palms come together. Open the palms. Bring the backs of the hands together. down, in, up, palms together. So find that as best you can. You're opening the palms, bringing the backs of the hands together and in with the fingers, then up, palms come together again. I find it's easiest to just sort of get the mind out of the way as best you can. If you encounter some difficulty, you're rotating, turning your fingers in a circle to point up, then forward, then down, then in, then up again. Okay? And then let's find it in the opposite direction. So let's start with the palms together. It's a little easier that way. We'll bring the palms to face you, opening them like a book. Bring the backs of the hands together, pointing the fingers in towards you first, then down, then forward, then up as the palms come back together. So fingers face in, down, away, and up. That's it. And your hands do this circle, touching all parts of the hands together in that circle. That's it. And if your wrists are quite tight, maybe the backs of the hands aren't touching a whole lot, right? Maybe it's just more the backs of the fingers, depending on how much bend you have that's comfortable in your wrists. Okay? Try it 2 more times. Good. Then let's interlace the fingers together. And as we have them interlaced, let's massage a little bit into the knuckles. So if you use your fingers of one hand to press down onto the knuckles of the other hand and just let the hands respond to that little bit of pressure, alternating. That's it. You can even start to find some movement through the wrists. You can bend them back, and maybe you can try to find kind of like a circular or figure 8 movement. The trickiest part is once you find kind of that figure 8 movement in one direction, can you find it in the other direction? That's it. Okay. Then let's push forward through the palms. That's it. As the fingers stay interlaced, spread the thumbs back towards you and lift the arms as high as it feels comfortable. Feel another breath there, maybe stretching out from the hips a little more. And then release the arms. Wiggle through the fingers as you like. Let's try it once again in the opposite direction, or not in the opposite direction, but opposite hand. On top. Okay. And again, just press down onto the knuckles, find a little movement there through these knuckle joints. Because with the other hand on top, we're finding pressure on different areas of the opposite hands. And then open the palms here. So I often find that the stretch is a little more intense with the second side, with the second hand on top, because it's not what we're used to. So find this for another breath. Good, and then lift the arms again to a comfortable height. Find the breath moving into the sides, maybe a little more. Nice. And then release the arms. Good. Let's bring the arms. Let's go for some circles with the shoulders. Reach the arms forward and up. That's it. Just go as high as it's comfortable. Then turn your palms to face away from you as you reach the arms behind you and down. So forward and up. Open the palms, turn them away as you reach back and down. So you're sort of drawing a circle, right, with each hand. And the circle could be quite large, or it could be smaller, more sort of out to the side rather than high overhead. Okay? So you decide what range of motion feels good for you right now, and trying to find that range of motion as large as is comfortable for you today. And of course, going slowly so we can actually feel those muscles around our shoulders working a little bit. Good. Let's just find 2 more. Feel the breath as you feel these movements. Oh, good. And then release and let it go. All right, so that's enough for the arms and shoulders for now. Let's get into the spine a bit more. Let's take the arms just down by our sides and feel the support into your feet as you push your feet into the floor. A little more, you might be able to sense your spine lifting a bit taller as you press down through the feet and lengthen tall through the spine. So with that support in the legs, let's lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then reach down with the right arm. So we shorten the right side of the waist and find a little more space in that left side. Just notice if your left shoulder, though, comes forward. See if you can keep both shoulders back towards the chair behind you. And then push into your feet to bring you back up. And then left ear lowers first. Find the movement through the neck. And then bring the movement through the rest of your spine. Trying not to let now that right shoulder come forward, okay? So it's just a side bend rather than a twist. Trying to feel that distinction. So find it a couple more times in each direction. Just take your time, leading with your head, and then bringing it into the rest of the spine. Good. Let's go for 1 more in each direction. You may notice that in one direction you can go quite a bit further than the other direction. All right. And then back up through center. Good. Let's bend the elbows now. So we've got the hands facing forward. And we'll just start to twist. So really very little or no movement for now in the arms. So the arms, elbows are going to stay right under your shoulders, right beside your waist. And you can feel or imagine you have a spotlight on your chest. And you're turning that spotlight to the right and to the left. So feel the movement primarily, through the waist area. So your head can follow this movement, or just keep your head looking forward. If you have the tendency to kind of lead with your head, see if you can maybe keep your head forward and try to find the movement more initiated more through the middle of your body. Ribs, waist, chest, okay? And then maybe you're ready to just allow the head to follow that twist. Good. And then you can start to bring the arms into it. So reaching with the opposite arm. So if you're turning to the left, you're reaching with the right arm out. If you're turning to the right, you're reaching with the left arm out. That's it. Reaching across. Staying upright, so you're not leaning in any direction off center. That's it. And just finding that twist with the stretch of the arm. Good. So we're getting into the muscles along the sides of our torso, through the waist and up in those muscles between the ribs. So we're loosening them up so we can breathe a little more deeply, more freely. All right, and then let that go. Whew. Take a moment to just pause and find center again. Notice the change that may have brought in your breath or in your ability to feel that area of your body through your sides. Feel the motions of the inhale and the exhale. All right. So we're going to move a little bit today, sort of upper body, sort of contralateral movement. So opposite arm, opposite leg moving, which is really similar to when we're walking. As one leg goes forward, the other arm should go forward. So we sort of twist towards the foot that's stepping forward. So let's just get that pattern in the stationary movement first. As we lift one knee at a time, we're going to sort of do that same sort of twisting movement. So maybe we'll start with that. Start with the twisting movement we just did, but not so much the reach with the arm. Just letting the elbows stay bent as we twist. One arm might sort of come in front of the other. Okay. So as we twist to the right, we're going to lift our left knee. When you're ready. Or wait. No. Yes, as we twist to the right, we're going to lift our right knee. That's it. As we twist to the left, we lift our left knee. Yes. So what happens as we do this, you find your own tempo. So you can start quite slow if you'd rather. Yeah. Okay. So you can notice that as you lift one foot or one knee, we're feeling our upper body turn towards it. Just slightly. It's not a huge twist. That's it. And as our right knee lifts, our left arm comes forward. Yeah? And as our left knee lifts, our right arm comes forward. So feel that. Couple more with your breath. Whatever tempo works for you. Good. And then let it go. All right. Release any tension here through the hips. So it can be quite helpful to just roll in and out on your feet as your knees go in and out. So we find a bit of movement into the ankles that way as well as the hips. That's it. Good. Okay. So we're going to come up to standing, but let's go through that sit to stand exercise where we have the feet anywhere between hip and shoulder distance apart usually works for most of us. A little bit of a turnout on the toes usually makes the hips a little happier. So you determine what that angle looks like for you on your feet and what the which width feels best, most supportive for you with your feet, narrower or wider. And you'll want to probably walk your feet a little bit back so the heels are actually slightly behind your knees if that feels okay in your knees. So find the bend in your knees that feels comfortable, feet further forward or feet further back. And then we'll bring the arms out in front of us. So the arms sort of act as a counterweight to our hips, which are going to stay behind us. So we're going to go forward with our upper body, trying not to round it all into the back, feeling how that loads our feet more. We can start to just actively push into the feet without even lifting off the chair. Yeah, just feel that work up the legs. And then come to sit back again. Feel the breath. As you lean forward, push more into your feet. As your feet press down, you can also feel them pulling away from each other a little bit. And you might notice how that brings you a little more support up the legs. And then come on back. Maybe this time you can lean forward and slightly hover your hips away from the seat. Pushing into your feet still, keeping your knees bent. And then trying to find the chair again, slowly returning to it. So find that twice more on your own. Hovering as low to the chair as you can remain. And then trying to land as lightly on the seat again. You got it. Really nice. Last one, let's hover, and then we'll come all the way up. So when you're ready, leaning forward, pushing into your feet, heels, big toes, baby toes. Hover off the seat, keeping the knees bent, keeping the chest wide. Feel one more breath. Good, then push into your feet. Whew. So come on up. I like to do a little sway of the hips. So you're moving from your middle, from that sacrum pelvis area, shifting hips off to the right, off to the left, feeling how the weight shifts in your feet. That's it. All right. So let's stand. What we might do is stand with our side to the chair. And you're welcome, if you want support on either side of you, you're welcome to do something like this, like stand beside another piece of furniture or a wall and have both hands there to support you as needed. Okay, so that we're going to start just feeling our feet. So what we might do is rock up onto our toes, lift the heels, and then slowly lower the heels and try to lift and spread the toes, shifting our weight back towards the heels. Rocking up onto the toes, slowly back to the heels. So as you do that movement, I'm just going to show you things to avoid. Moving from the hips. Sometimes instead of moving much from the ankles, our hips want to lead the way. Okay? So see if you can feel your whole body stay in that tall, strong, straight line from head to heels or ankles as you're finding the movement really through the feet to raise up and to lower down. Oh yeah, I forgot the leaning back. Okay, so when you lean back, you're trying not to let your hips lean back. Yeah, it's the whole body. You got it. So a lot of this movement is in your ankles and in your toes. Good. And then let's do a couple of movements where we're staying primarily on the balls of the feet and just letting the heels raise and lower. So we get some action into the calf muscles a little more. That's it. Yes. Rising up and lowering down slowly with control, and noticing as you do this, does the weight want to shift around on your feet? Does all the weight want to kind of roll in to the big toes or roll out to the baby toes? And see if you can keep a little more balance across the pads of your feet. Let's go for 2 more. Probably starting to feel that burn in the calf muscles. Whew. And then release it. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Okay, so you're welcome to keep hold of your support. Have your feet as parallel as they can stay. Okay, as they can stay, that's comfortable in your ankles and knees and hips. So if the feet have to turn out a little, let them turn out a little, just finding as much as possible feet parallel. And then let's move down through a squat. And as we do this, I'm going to show you the side view. Let's move the hips straight down so they stay directly above the heels. So this gets into the knees differently and into the ankles. So you determine how much movement there is, even if it's just a small little bend, trying to keep your hips above your heels. And that's just the parameter of this movement to bring it a little more into the ankles. So you can feel how, as your knees go forward, your heels stay back and down into the floor, and you get this big bend going on in the ankles, or small bend, whatever works for you. Okay? So feeling that. And then let's do more like a chair pose squat. So noticing now when you bend the knees, let's bring the hips behind the heels. Yes. So we're kind of moving the hips back and down. So you might feel this quite differently in your quad muscles, in your knees. There's less movement in the ankles, and back up. So just feeling this change, this difference. You got it. Maybe you can go further when you do it this way. Maybe you don't go as far when you do it this way. Just try to feel the difference. That's it. Doing your best not to lean forward too much as you keep it going. Really nice. All right. And then come on back up. And just change the position of your feet. So what you might do is have your feet a little wider apart. Maybe you turn your toes out a little more. Okay, just to find a different alignment of your feet. So whatever that looks like for you. And let's revisit that same squat we just did, where the hips are going to go sort of back behind us. As we bend our knees are still pointing in the same direction of each toe and back up. So noticing how this changes the movement through your ankles, through your knees, through your hips. As you go down slowly, feel again where the weight is in your feet, pushing the floor away from you to come on back up with strength. That's it. Really nice. Last one. Working into the legs and up into the glutes. Okay, let that go. Shake it out. Then we'll start to find a bit of balance work. So this is where you may want space to hold on to, something to hold on to on either side of you if you want. And let's begin by standing into the one leg and lifting the other knee. Pressing down, standing into that leg and lifting the other knee. So alternating, raising one foot at a time, trying to lift the knee as high as it can come, comfortably through that hip and through that knee. So you're welcome to continue to hold as needed. As we raise the one knee, let's lift the opposite arm. That's it. You're welcome to hold on or not. So you do what you need to do to keep this movement doable and safe and stable as you keep it going. That's it. So we're doing that marching movement that we did sitting. Lifting one knee. Opposite arm comes forward. We might even find a bit of a twist going on in our waist. That's perfectly fine. Good. All right. Let's stand into the right foot. Lift the left knee. Right arm is forward. You're welcome to hold on with your left arm to more support. That's it. Pause into this. Feel like you're pulling up through that left knee as high as you can as you push down through your right foot. You might even lift that right arm overhead and feel all that length through the right side for one last breath. Really good. And let it go. Whew, catch the breath, find your balance, your support through both feet for a moment. This time your right hand can be holding on to something. So we can stand into the left leg, lift the right knee, right arm forward for now. That's it. So feel the support. Push down a little more through your left knee. I like to sort of bend the knee a little bit, find the ground through the foot, push into it, and feel like I'm lifting taller away from that action. As I push down, I go up. Yes. And then feel the right knee lifting, maybe sending the left arm up. Finding your balance, finding your breath. Really good. And then let it go. Okay, great. Shake out the legs a little bit. Let's find a lunge position to get into some stretch now into the front of those hips and thighs. So you're welcome to hold on to the back of the chair or even have the seat of the chair facing you if you'd rather go further forward from your hips. So let's keep the right foot forward, send the left foot back. That's it. And we'll just start with a little bit of movement in this front leg. So just keeping yourself pretty much upright for now. Bend and straighten that front knee while keeping your back heel on the floor and your back leg straight. So you might notice that as your front knee bends, you probably feel a little more stretch into the front of that left hip. That's it. Trying your best to keep your spine pretty tall and upright for now. Good, and then let's keep that front knee bent. And we'll once again send the left arm forward. Let's bring it out to the side, nice and wide through the chest here. You can also, if you have the balance through the feet, you can take the other arm out to the side if you like. Good. See if you can lift the left arm or both arms overhead for another breath. And then take both hands back to the chair. See if you can come forward with your upper body. So sometimes you might be able to bring the forearms onto the back of the chair or hands to the seat of the chair at this point. It's up to you. Now you might notice more of a stretch into the back of that back leg down through the calf. Pushing the heel down. That's it. We can slowly try to straighten into that front leg. So if you find it a little too intense, bring yourself upright a little more. Straightening into that front leg, you got it. And then let's twist. Twist to the right. Right arm stretching out, turning in that direction. As we're here, feel the support of both feet. As we feel a nice sense of space still into the chest. Breathe into that. Really good. And then coming back, hands to the chair. We'll step that back foot forward. Shake out the legs if you like. Roll and release through the shoulders. All right, let's try it out on the other side. So left foot forward, right foot back. Comfortable distance, your choice on how far this right foot is stepping back, of course. You want to be where you can feel the support of that back foot. Heel down into the floor with the toes still for the most part facing forward. Okay? So just start out by straightening and bending your front knee. And you can feel that as you bend this front knee and it points further forward, you want to feel the back leg, right thigh, moving in the opposite direction. Left knee forward, right thigh back. Yeah, like a kind of bow and arrow, moving away from each other. That's it. So the right leg stays strong. Ooh, front of that right hip opens up a little bit. Nice. And then let's keep that front knee bent. And take now the right arm forward, out to the side. As you feel the support of both feet, you're welcome to lift the other arm off the chair if you like. Both arms wide, or keeping that left hand there. Sending the right arm or both arms overhead for another breath or two. Good. Bring the hands back to the chair. Come forward from your hips. So trying your best to keep some of that space still wide open through your chest. You determine how far forward you want to go on this leg with that knee bent for another breath. And then as you slowly try to straighten that front leg, the further forward you are, the more of a bend you're gonna, or more of a stretch, you're gonna feel. So if you need to back away from it, bring your hands higher on the chair, and then let's twist. Twist to the left this time. Stretching out that left arm. That's it. So can you feel still the support of both feet as the upper body is turning open to the left? Breath fills that space. Really good. All right, let's come on back. Hands to the chair. We can step together again. And let's find a downward dog. So you're welcome to find this downward dog with the hands staying on the back of the chair, or bring your palms to the seat. That's it. And just try to feel here the support of both legs right under your hips. And as your hips are reaching back, feel like your neck, the spine reaches forward to the space between your hands. Feel that length in both directions. Tailbone sending back, crown of the head stretching forward, breath in between. Good. And then let's walk the feet back in until we're upright again. Let's bring the chair back to the middle or so. And we're just going to stand in front of the seat so that we can make our way back down with control, okay? So finding that sort of chair pose shape. You might want to be quite close to the chair so you know it's there for you. You might even have, if you want, the backs of your shins or knees touching the front of the chair. So feel your feet underneath your hips. As you shift your weight back a bit to your heels, bend at the knees, bend at the hips, back and down towards the seat. Welcome to bring the arms forward and then come on back up just when you touch the chair. So find that twice more. That's it. Last one, hold that little bit of a hover and then try to land as lightly as you can back into your seat. Whew. All right, good. Let's do a bit of a sequence for the hips and the legs here. So we'll bring the top of the right foot to the floor. Maybe the toes point back underneath the seat a little bit. And if it's available, so you really want to be towards the front of your chair for this, hold on to the seat so you feel secure. You can try to bring your foot further back so that your right knee points further down. That's it. So here, you can try to lift up through the pubic bone as you press down into the top of that right foot. The knee points towards the floor. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the side. All right. You may be here, you may be back here. Just go to where it feels okay in your joints. And then while your knee and your knee points down, pull up through the pubic bone, feel a breath. Lifting the chest. Not so much the head or chin, but chest lifts towards the chin. That's it. You might feel a little more of a stretch there into that front hip. All right. And then slowly return back with that right leg stretching out in front of you. So we can have the toes pointing up. You're on the back of that right heel. And then from there, see if you can come forward until you feel a gentle stretch in the back of that right leg. Your hands or forearms can land on your legs. And feel where the breath moves here. Give it time to find a steady rhythm. Good, and then coming back upright. Let's pull this right knee up so that we can cross the ankle over the knee and let that right knee fall out and down. If this feels too intense on the hip, you can also straighten your other leg a little more and have the ankle resting further down on the leg. Okay, so it's not quite as the stretch in that hip. And then you're welcome to stay upright if this is enough of a stretch for you, or come a little bit forward to accentuate that stretch in the right hip. Okay? If you keep that right foot flexed so the toes pull back towards the shin, it might sort of target the hip a little better. Good. And then coming back upright, let's release the feet, move the knees in and out. And we'll take it to the other side. Bring the top of the left foot to the floor. So this is quite a good stretch for the top of the foot. And we're trying to let that stretch come into the whole front of the leg. So you might feel it, through the front of the knee, through the front of the thigh, especially as you bring your foot further back behind you or under the seat. You want to be forward on your chair, right at the edge of it. So as you try to feel the weight across the top of your foot, out into that baby toe. Yes, you'll feel that support across the top of the foot to encourage the knee to point down from the hip and then pull up a little bit through the front of your pelvis to feel that stretch a little more through the front thigh into the front hip. And you can let that stretch continue up the whole front of your torso by lifting your chest a little bit towards the chin. Breathing into that space. Really nice. One more breath here. It can be quite tricky to find ways to stretch the front thigh. That isn't too challenging. So this is one way, hopefully. All right. And then let's straighten out the left leg. So we've got the heel down, toes and knee pointing up towards the sky. So notice if the leg wants to roll out. So you can bring the knee and toes to point up and then come forward. However far you make it, where you feel a gentle stretch through the back of this leg, maybe just a nice deep fold in the front hips, and feeling each breath moving into your belly, finding that soft expansion with the inhale. And that supportive drawing in with the exhale. Really nice. Coming back upright, we'll lift that left knee, hold on to it. for a moment, pulling it up as high as you can so that you can cross the ankle over the knee. Or again, if that's too intense, straighten your right leg a little more and lower the foot further down. Coming forward, a lot or a little, until you feel now, you'll probably notice more sensation around that left hip, inner thigh potentially too. Your hands can rest and feel a little more softness there in your shoulders as you breathe lower into your belly. Yes, really nice stretch for the hip. Release the feet, coming back to sitting tall, and just loosen into those hips again. All right. Let's come again to have our comfortable seat. So find where your hips might be more towards the back of your chair. So if you're leaning back against your backrest, your shoulders are still above your hips. Feel your feet on the floor. And we can rest the hands in this mudra where the right palm faces up and lands into your left palm. You can rest your hands around the navel and bring the tips of the thumbs to touch. So right palm on top of left palm, and the tips of the thumbs touch together. So you create this sort of circle in front of the navel. Relax into your shoulders. And just feeling and settling your awareness once again here with your breath. And trying to notice the motions of your breath down where your hands are. Quite deep into the belly. Feeling how your belly softens with your inhale, gently expanding. And feeling how your belly sort of retreats with the exhale, draws back in. A slight engagement towards the end of the exhale as the belly helps to gently push out all the breath. So stay with the breath's rhythm as you feel yourself sitting here for a few more cycles. And then little by little, once again, return to sense the space around you as you continue to feel yourself sitting here. You can let the eyes open. Let's bring the palms together in front of the heart. Feel the warmth of the hands, or the temperature of the hands as they touch in front of the heart, creating this circle of energy through the arms, through the collarbones, through the front, completing the circle at the breastbone through the heart. Heart to hands. Good. Bowing down to your practice today. Thank you very much for being here.